You're Sarah Pizzuto.
You're Caleb Noble.
And who did we talk to today?
We talked to Peggy and Kelly, the wonderful ladies of the office.
And we talked to John Greenall, who's an expert in the carriage driving division all throughout the world, really. And he talked to us about turnout and different types of turnout. You'll find out what that is when you watch. And who else did we talk to?
We talked to YA. What does that stand for, Caleb?
Young Adult Alliance. We talked to some board members there, and it's really interesting stuff. And they talked about upcoming events and what they're doing for our industry. So check out the show. We'll talk to you later.
Yay.
We know Oklahoma's morning people. You take your breaking news before breakfast. You want your weather before your workout. And you try to beat Sky 5 out the door. Oklahoma's own Ariel and Abby, getting you informed so you can get on with your day. And nobody's more accurate than Brad's first alert forecast. Join us tomorrow and see for yourself. Morning news for Oklahoma's morning people. KOCO 5 News in the morning.
I'm here with Horse Show Wire and Kathleen and Lynn Peoples at Waterford Farms out of New Jersey. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks, we're happy to be here.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Waterford Farms, maybe a little bit of history.
We bought this farm in 1993. We got married in 91 and bought the farm in 93. It had some pasture and turnouts that was enticing to me because I had some brood mares and raised some colts, and Kathy had a bunch of lessons, and so it had a arena on it and so on. So that's how we ended up. It was in New Jersey, where she was from. I was from Western Pennsylvania, and moved out there.
So tell us, what's the history of you, Kathy? How did you get involved in the Morgans?
Well, I started in Ohio. I started riding at Serenity Farm with Terry Rutledge and Kathy Rutledge, and she's now Kathy Hummel. And then when I was 10, we moved to New Jersey, and I went to Broadvale Farm, and so I'm an old Broadvale girl, like a lot of people in the business. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So how about you?
My uncle had some sale barn horses, and we rode horses, rough horses, when I was a kid. And then when I was went and lived with my grandmother and grandfather, was real close to where Cecil Brown was training at Elk Creek Farms, and I went to work for him and started cleaning stalls right on up through, and started to go to the horse show and groom horses. And I got hooked on them, I guess, probably with a horse named Sandcase All Aglow. That was a big trotting horse at that time. And we went to all the horse shows and horses like him and Wilmore Spitfire and Fleet Wings Prophet and Big Ben's Ace Bomb are the reason that intrigued me in this breed.
How did you get into the breeding?
Well, there's owners notoriously ask trainers, you know, well, who should I breed this mare? Who should I breed this mare to? And I said to myself, you know, after a while, and they would do that, and I was younger, and they would take them and put them in train with somebody else. And I said, well, heck, I'd just do this myself, and I thought that it was a way of making an extra income, and really, really enjoy it.
When you're looking at crossing a dam and a sire, what do you look for?
Well, mare families is a big thing to me. How that mare's family produced, and what kind of traits come from that family, and even more than an individual. You can breed one freaky individual, but if you're going to breed on, then you have to have a family of horses that are consistent with that A trait: work ethic, talent, beauty, something that has to be consistent with that family, and then it makes it easier to breed.
And do you look back in the bloodlines like Fleet Wing and Trophy, things like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they got to go back to somebody. There's a reason that they look and act the way they do, and if you look hard enough, you'll probably find it.
You've had great success in your breeding program, LPS, Lynn People. You've got a lot. What are some horses that you guys have bred that you've really liked?
City Kitty was really, really dear to us as far as a horse is still showing today. Man About Town LPS is one of my favorite all time. You know, Pot of Gold, he had a great attitude, thought he was somebody, showed up every day to show. So there's several of them that have been really, really good individuals. Even the Hunter mare,
Vain Dame.
Vain Dame was one of my favorite hunters we ever bred. And I've got that stud fee from Carol Hudson when I was helping her show Hillock Show Son, and that meant I bred her to a horse that was very talented and wasn't quite pretty enough, and he fixed all that, and we went on.
So what drives you guys to come out to Oklahoma every year and do the horses?
Well, I think that the exciting young horses is what drives me. You know, the young horses and you see new combinations that people put together. Instructors and trainers put new combinations of horses, go out and buy horses that fit into their program and fit their rider, and I think that that's a talent all in itself.
How about you?
You know, we're lucky to be able to do something we love to do. You know, and I love animals, and I like people too, most of the time. And animals all the time, but and I love to come out and see all, like Lynn said, the young stock is really, it's the young horse classes, I think, that draw. I mean, I enjoy the equitation. I've had equitation riders. I don't have any right now, but it's really hard. The competition just gets deeper and deeper every year out here.
Well, you guys brought two good points, young horses and equitation. Tell us a little bit about Ledier's Lucky Lucas.
He's a colt that we had since he started his training. He's beautiful. They've let him grow up. He won the 2-year-old in hand and 2-year-old pleasure driving stud class here when he was a 2-year-old and was reserve world grand champion stallion. Also won the futurity. He's been good to us from the get-go. He won under saddle as a 3-year-old, and he won the 3-year-old in hand here. And this year he was grand champion stud at Gold Cup, very competitive, along with the junior English pleasure there, another really competitive class. Then he won the money at New England. He's been a very nice horse. He's a quality individual, quality, never goes out of style.
For sure. And type, I love
Right.
Morgan through and through.
Yep.
Right.
And you won a class right after that, New England, the
That was a
equitation.
lot of fun. The trainer's equitation was a lot of fun. And it was the camaraderie and everything. It was a lot of fun. I had to borrow a horse out there. Broadmoor was so kind to lend me their lesson horse, and he was just a sport and did everything I asked him to do, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this week here at Oklahoma. Horses you brought, what are you looking forward to?
We're looking forward to showing all of them, or we probably wouldn't have brought them, but we've got some horses that we've bred that we have sold, and they're showing here, and we look forward to seeing them and have a successful week. So I think that we've got and some young horses. We've got a 3-year-old hunter and couple 4-year-old English pleasure horses, and so 3-year-old English pleasure horses by Town Assets, and then we've got Bellerophon again. We're going to show him in the pleasure driving, which he's been very successful at. So we're really
We're excited about him. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys do a great job with your horses. It's fun to watch. And all the young, whenever there's a young horse class, a junior horse class, you guys always have horses in there, and they're always winning the class or very competitive.
That's all we want. We just want them to make a nice show. You're not going to win every class, but we want them to make a nice show.
That's great. So good luck this week. Thank you so much for talking to us. And Waterford helped sponsor one of the days here with Horse Show Wire. So we really appreciate your contribution and helping us out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mathis Brothers has something for everyone, no matter where you're at in life. Whether you're moving to college, starting a family, or when you finally build that dream home, you'll find a complete range of price points and styles, and in every category. Many of our customers are second and third generation because the relationship we build with you and your family lasts a lifetime. The largest selection, the best value, from our family to yours, for over 50 years. Only at Mathis Brothers, guaranteed.
The Morgan Weanling Gala, showcasing the future of our Morgan breed. The only event in the nation focused on weanlings, their sires, and their breeders, with the largest single-class payout in the Morgan world. History has proven the Morgan Weanling Gala showcases not only the top weanlings, but also the show ring and breeding stars of the future. And now, you can join these great stallions as we look to the future. Be a part of the Morgan Weanling Gala.
So I'm here with Horse Show Wire, and we are talking to Linda Hall from AMHA Apparel. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with AMHA.
I'm Linda Hall, hello, and I do the online store for AMHA, so I'm the official online store for all your American Morgan Horse Association merchandise. And we carry things like sweatshirts, jackets, anything you want, trailer hitches, tire covers, cups. We have a wide assortment of merchandise online. But here at Grand National, I bring a few selections so that people can take gifts home and shop and see the quality, see what's available. So all during the week, we're open until the evening session starts, so come over and see us.
Very exciting. So if somebody isn't here, what website do they go to buy the apparel off of?
You go to the American Morgan Horse website and you'll see Morgan merchandise, and just click on that and it'll take you right to the store where you can purchase from.
And where do you get your ideas for doing, because this year especially I see some really cool merchandise. Where do you get the ideas to do these things?
It's a combination of, there's committees through the association. Julie Broadway and her staff give me ideas. We get a lot of ideas just from being here, and people will say, gee, do you have this, or I'd like that. There's a book selection committee that selects the books that I carry. So it's a lot of combinations of various input, mostly through the customers who are going to buy it.
So what do you enjoy the most about being at Morgan Grand National?
Well, I'm a longtime Morgan exhibitor, so for me, I do a lot of horse association work, but this is like being home with my family. So lots of friends, 20 years of friendship.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone probably who has horses in some capacity experiences symptoms of colic. The determining factor is getting to the horse quick enough, and Night Watch gives us the time to make an earlier intervention than we would have otherwise had.
Horses do not like to show signs of weaknesses. So a lot of times when they start having sort of distress, what you're going to see isn't behavioral, it's going to be more of vital signs. Your heart rate's going to get elevated, your respiratory rate's going to get elevated, but they're not necessarily going to show outward physical signs of distress until it's very far along.
As a full-time mom, as a full-time career woman, as an amateur rider, I have a lot of things to worry about. So I'm sitting here in my office doing my job, thinking about a million different things and knowing that if something went wrong, I would get a message saying something was wrong, and then I could act on it.
The world is going mobile every day, and being able to have something in your pocket that can relieve you of a certain amount of stress worrying about your horses at home is huge.
This is where technology has finally caught up to what we need to properly assess and evaluate these horses on a day-to-day basis. And now I think this is another set of eyes when we cannot be there, whether we're on the road showing, and I think it has a bright future.
I've thought about a million different scenarios. And initially I thought, oh, maybe it'll appeal to this faction, a breeding operation, or to a training barn, or to an amateur owner trainer. I can't see who it wouldn't help. It's a lifesaver, is how I would describe it to someone. Yes, it's an equine distress monitor. It's a lifesaver.
I'm here with Christy Strom of Tracewear. Welcome to the 2015 Morgan Grand National.
Thank you, Caleb.
So tell me a little about yourself, maybe a little history of Tracewear.
Well, Tracewear is a Pandora-compatible rewards and recognition bracelet for people who show horses. Specifically for this show, we're presenting the Morgan line. And so people can basically trace the history with their horse on the bracelet and their accomplishments as they compete with their horse.
So how did you come up with that idea?
Well, I was actually looking for charms for my own bracelet, and I couldn't find any in the market that would capture the moments with my horse when I was showing her. So I actually created them for myself, and then a lot of my friends liked them, so then I mass marketed it to all the other people in the horse community.
How can people get a hold of you? If they're at home and watching, how can they get a hold of you?
They can go on my website, www.tracewear.net, and all of the charms are on the website as well. We do this for the Morgan breed, but we also do it for Pasafinos, saddlebreds, quarter horses, and Hackney ponies, and Arabians. So we're going to be heading to the Arabian show next. We also face with the hunter, jumper, and dressage community as well. We started that this year too.
If somebody had an idea and they couldn't find it, would you be the person to go and talk to?
Yes, so they can email me. Our contact us page is right on the website.
Okay.
They can also call our 1-800 number too, which is 1-855-YOUR-STORY.
This sounds really cool. We just met, but I feel like I've known her forever. And thank you so much. And if you want to come get some charms or come and talk, she's really cool. And you can check her online. And thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, Caleb.
I'm here with Kelly McFall and Peggy Hatfield, here working in the office at the Morgan Greer National. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Caleb. We're glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad I'm here too. So tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Well, I am Kelly McFall, and as most everybody knows, I am Peggy Hatfield, the Secretary Extraordinaire's daughter.
And I'm Peggy Hatfield, and I'm from Kansas, and we've been doing horse shows a long time. Been doing this show for 23 years.
Since 1993.
Right.
1993. Wow. I was 4 years old then, so that's
Yeah,
what's
we don't need to hear that. Thanks very much. Thanks, Caleb.
We were too. That's how we were when we started.
Tell me a little bit about how did you you guys get involved in the Morgan breed or horses in general?
We've raised Morgan horses for about 45 years, and then I got started on a local level helping with the local show, which I ended up doing for about 45 years. And Kelly got roped into helping me just, as time went on, and I did other shows. And when Fern Bittner was hired, she wanted me to come with her, and so I did. And I've been here ever since, and Kelly comes with me and is the integral part, and now does a lot of other things besides just secretarial work.
I'm also the bookkeeper for the show. I take care of the World Morgan Futurity paperwork and money and financials, and I don't know what else, but a lot of other things. I send all the officials' contracts out and make sure that I have them all back and write their paychecks.
Very important part of the team here at the Morgan Grand National, like the unsung heroes of the crew. I know that secretaries in general, right? It's kind of something that not a lot of people get into. Like, what would you say to people that might be involved with the horses, but maybe I want to give back to the breed a little bit? What would you say?
Well, being a secretary is a good way to do it, and I did shows, my local show volunteer for many years, and if you get involved with the show, if you want the show, it's good to help with the show, and otherwise shows couldn't exist on the local level. There's a lot of them. It's a great way to meet people. Morgan people are the best.
Absolutely. Most of my friends are Morgan people that I see when I go out of town to the various shows, but it's a great time.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
We showed at the very first Grand National in Detroit. We showed the horses there, and I've been to every single Grand National, and in some capacity, working, showing horses, not myself, but our horses being shown, and just spectating, and I haven't missed one, and it's a thrill. It's a real thrill for me to work here.
It means a lot, I think, to people at home that are watching to see how much love and compassion comes just to coming to the show for the people that work here.
It's just a special show for me because I just remember when we showed here, and it's just an excitement builds up all year.
So what goes into being secretaries or, essentially being the backbone of this horse show? When do you guys get here? How preparation? Let me know how that happens.
Start getting entries, and actually you can get them in June. I've even gotten some in June, and we have to set up the horse show program and take the entries and get everything inputted and get all the entries ready. And then Kelly comes here a week earlier than I do and helps do the stall chart and getting that in, and we get the packets ready for the people to come and take their changes and make sure everything's okay.
What does that look like for you?
Well, on my end, I am at her house every day from August 18th on, from the deadline. The minute I get home from Mass Morgan, I'm over at her house every single day.
My office.
Her office. Her office. And we both process entries. We have 2 computers, and we're both working constantly. Then we send out all the acknowledgments. When I come to Oklahoma City, we have all the stabling lists all done, and I come to help with that when I came September 29th this year. So we do the stall chart pretty much in a day, and then we make all the barn charts to distribute to the vendors that, like the stall mat people, the feed and bedding people, and whoever else needs them. And we're pretty much working the entire time until we go home on October the 18th.
Whenever I walk through, you're always in here.
Yeah, we're here. Well, every now and then we'll take a session off once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Once the whole show.
Once the whole show.
Yeah.
But mostly we're here working from about 7:30 or 8 to when it's over, 10, whatever it takes. And then we put the results in, of course, and get it sent to the publications and get all the entries in for the next day.
And then we have a great staff. Linda Linda Burke, she's great. Nani Lubke, I don't know what we do without either one of those.
Right.
Nani comes in early and makes her barn announcements to everyone and takes care of everything before we get here.
We all
and-
have very specific jobs. Linda does the clipboards for the judges, and Nani does she does the draws for the reining. Everybody's got a job, and it's just seamless. It really is. We've worked together for so long.
I know. Yeah, you would never find 4 women working together that all get along.
that like each other and
Yeah.
enjoy it, and
Yeah.
all do their jobs and know what their jobs are.
Everybody really appreciates what you do and what a great show you help put on. It's
So we appreciate everyone's attitude that comes in here. We don't have anybody cross with us hardly ever.
Hardly ever.
Sometimes, but not too often. We remember those people.
I think people don't realize what this part. I mean, everybody sees at the show the judges, the ringmaster, the organist, or whatever, but they don't think of really what really runs the show.
Right.
At least I don't.
Exactly.
Right. The judges are out there and they're doing their job, and we're doing our job too, and I think they appreciate us, but it's not as out
It's not
there.
as visible
Yeah.
as everyone else's position.
Right.
So.
It's truly appreciated, and I think everybody can attest to that. So thank you so much for your time, and good luck the rest of the week.
Thanks. Thank you, Caleb. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
This is Caleb with Horse Show Wire out here in the carriage driving division, here with John Greenall of Vermont. John, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you, Caleb. Great to see you again.
Yeah, New England. Sorry, New England?
Absolutely. We were double team there.
Yeah, right. So tell me a little bit about what we're going to be watching right now.
Okay, this is a working class. So in the carriage world, we divide all of our pleasure classes into turnout, which is spit, polish, harness, carriage. All those little things really matter. Then we have the working class, which is primarily on how well the horse does the gaits and works well. And the third split of pleasure is reinsmanship. So that's like an equitation driving class.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the carriage driving.
Well, I've had Morgan horses for about 50 years now, although I look much younger than that. And I was in the Pennsylvania area, so I showed heavily in the Mid-Atlantic region and did come out here with carriage horses many, many times back in the 70s and the early 80s, and competed and had a great time. And I've been lucky enough now to have done equine work, primarily carriage work, in 45 states and 9 foreign countries. So it's amazing how the horse has gotten me around.
That's amazing.
Nothing I ever planned on doing, but it just sort of happens.
What drives you? Why do you like to do this?
Well, for a while I did all the Morgan show stuff, and it was very hard to beat the really good trainers. So I kind of found the carriage niche, and I tried to make it my own. And it was smaller. I could do it primarily myself, although it certainly helps to have a professional helping you. And I like the people, I like the breed, and the carriage people are very nice across the board in all breeds. Carriage people are very nice, and you go to a show, you take things to help other people. We all help each other out. It's a nice, friendly group.
So have you had any mentors in the carriage driving, or is it kind of self-taught?
Well, back when I was starting, there was no one to ask. I mean, there just wasn't. So you kind of did it by the seat of your pants. And then the Morgan Horse magazine came to me, and for about 10 years, every April issue, I did a feature on driving. So that forced me to look for people who knew, look for books that were hard to find, because if you're going to put it in print, it better be correct. So that got my mind spinning, and I got to know a lot of people from all over because of asking them questions. And one thing led to another, and I found myself restoring vehicles for other people, and then judging a little bit more and a little bit more, and then I became a member of the American Driving Society, which was just forming, and I became a judge for them, and then I became a USEF judge as time went on. And it's been a wonderful world, and I've collected carriages myself, because I'm afraid I'm an addictive collector. And over the years, I've had probably over 300 carriages, because you buy a barn of 10, keep 1 or 2 and sell the rest, and just keep moving up and moving up. And now I have about 40 vehicles that are restored in my collection, which I have now. I've moved to Vermont. I'm near the Green Mountain Horse Association in central Woodstock, Vermont, and I have a museum set at my farm, and I give people tours. And I've been president of the Carriage Museum of America, so I've seen a lot of collections everywhere, and I've been president of the American Driving Society. It's just amazing how this carriage thing, and primarily the Morgan horse, has gotten me just everywhere.
Cool. Well, looks like Section A is coming in, so maybe you can talk us through it a little bit. So tell me a little bit about carriage driving in general, the turnout, as you call it, things like that.
Right. Well, this class had 16 entries, and although this is a very large arena, we found that there were enough entries that we could split it into a class of 8 and a class of 8, and there were enough extra sets of ribbons that we can actually pin it as 2 separate classes. And even though this is big, as I said, it can get very crowded, and when you're in a carriage, there's lots of variables, there's lots of wheels and things, and you want to make sure it's safety. We always stress safety, always, always, always. So we split it in half. There's 8. This is the first group of 8 in here, and they will be judged as individuals. So what the judge is looking for now is this: she's asked for a walk. She wants the horses flat walking, not jigging. So we want them to be doing a nice flat walk and not doing too much of a jig, because that would really not be a walk. It'd be a jig.
So they just asked for a slow trot. What does that even mean?
Okay, well, the trots are in 3 different speeds. The slow trot is a little bit like a collector trot, but it's done slowly with a little bit more collection of the horse's body, maybe a little bit more held it together. And then the next speed she'll ask for is known as the working trot, which is sort of the mid-trot of a horse. It's a trot that they could do all day long with very little effort. And then the third trot we ask for is the strong trot, which includes a little more speed, but we want the body frame of the horse to lower, and we want the horse to stretch out and reach. So we want to see extension in the strong trot. And you will see they're coming right at us, so we'd be better looking at them maybe from a distance. But when they come around, who knows what the judge is thinking, but we want to be looking for now in the stronger trot some lengthening of stride.
So over here, we have this, she's, what do you have to, for helmets, why is that girl wearing a helmet?
Okay, she is a junior. She's under 18 years of age. So in all of carriage driving, if you're under 18, you must wear a hard hat.
And she's very competitive. I know in New England she cleaned house.
She's from Florida. She's traveling around. I think she's about to go off to college. And she has a very nice combination. She's got a great trainer who helps her, and she's quite a real student of what she's doing. Now we are asking for the strong trot, so now we're going to look for some lengthening. This horse here is doing a very nice lengthening just past us. And the lengthening in the carriage classes is as important as a very high trot in a park class. So we want to see some lengthening of body. We want the legs going out in front of us. If there's a slight hesitation, that's even better. But it's just a strong trot. Unlike if this was a dressage class, which we will have dressage as the week goes on, there we want a true lengthening of stride and a true extension. We're just looking for a stronger trot in this case, so it's like it but not as extreme. And again, you watch the manners. The horses, we want them quiet. The ring is so large, the judges says you can reverse at will, means you can reverse anywhere at all along the rail. We always want the horses to turn to the inside because it's a safety thing. It keeps it safer. So they're turning around, now they're going in the opposite direction. A clever driver will kind of look around and look for a hole so that they can, when they're driving, they can be alone and not in a crowd.
Yeah, so like this horse right here is kind of
Yes.
finding her spot right in the
See,
rail.
and she's the one, she's quite a good competitor, and you see she's found a good spot. She's all by herself. It's subtle, but they're all looking around. They're all watching where there's a good location. And if you do want to pass another horse, you always pass on the inside. You never pass between a horse in front of you and the rail because that could become a dangerous situation. And my feeling is that nationwide there are literally hundreds of former horse show horses that maybe don't have the spark for the top classes, but they'd be ideal carriage classes. They're probably trained to death, totally broke. A nice horse, you're keeping care of it at home. You can have a horse in this division that's in your 20s. Yeah. It doesn't really matter as long as they do a nice job. And as you see, some of these people have two people in a carriage. Some of the competitors, you may carry a passenger in the pleasure classes. But in cones, as we'll see later in the week, and in dressage, there you drive alone unless you're a junior. Then you have to have someone with you if you're under 14 years of age. Yeah. That means someone that could assist you if necessary. From 14 to 18, as a junior, you wear the hard hat, but you may drive alone.
And what's the age? I know there's a certain age the horse needs to be in order to be in carriage driving division. What is that?
3 or 4. I think it's 4 o'clock. 4. I know in combined driving they must be 4. In pleasure, I think they can be 3 years old. Because you want them, there's a lot of weight involved here. We don't want to push these horses. I think carriage people start their horses a little slower. They take a little more time. Mm-hmm. Because this is a pleasurable thing, and you do it as a unit. Now we're at strong trot now. You watch, you're going to see a lengthening of stride. Over there in the corner, we see some lengthening of stride. There's quite a glare here with the highway, but you can see a change. And some, like this one, is quite good that just went by here.
Yep. We'll find her.
And of course, we're looking at certain things, and the judge is looking in a different
Yeah,
direction,
exactly.
so we could be missing a little faux pas on the rail, but...
So here's a strong trot right there.
Right, yes. Yeah, very nice. A little bit of motion, but also we want to lengthen as well as having motion.
And what's the importance of asking for a halt in a class like this?
Well, it's manners. It's a horse behaving. When you have a carriage horse, there's a lot involved, and the most important gate is the halt. Get people into your carriage, get them out again safely. We teach our carriage horses that you hook them always at a halt, and they stand. When I get into my carriage, I just wait for a moment, and I sit there and I wait. It seems like forever, but I'll wait maybe sometimes a minute, because the last thing you want them to do is you get in the carriage and they take off, which you often see that in other parts of other disciplines of this breed. But it's important that they are quiet, they listen,
and safe. Because
safety, safety, safety.
I think we talked about this in New England. A lot of people do this on their own too.
Totally. I mean, I would say out here, I would say a very large percentage of the horses that are in front of us at this moment, these people are doing it on their own.
Which is amazing. You think of all the turnout they have and everything. It's pretty amazing.
It's like anything. It's a learning curve. It seems like a lot, and I specialize in trying to turn horses and carriages out. And in the carriage world, the hat's a very important thing. A hat can make or break a turnout. It really can. So we generally, carriage dress is tailored, and you see every competitor drives with a whip in their hand because they're not on the horse's back to give it aid. So the whip has to be long enough, the whip or the thong on the end of the whip, to reach the horse's shoulder to give it aids. You also wear gloves, and I prefer, and the whole society prefers, a dark brown glove. And the reason we wear dark brown leather gloves is because if they were black, they might disappear, but the dyes could come off on your hands if you were sweating. Everyone wears an apron, and the apron goes over all of your clothing, and the reason is to keep harness, oils, and road dirts and things off your clothes. Everything's practical. You wear an apron to keep you clean. And then everyone wears a hat, which keeps the sun out of your eyes, keeps your hair out of your eyes, and it makes it easier. And if it's very windy, like our forecast is for high winds this afternoon, there's a front coming through, so these people will be, maybe they'll have a little elastic under their chins, so because you don't want to worry about your hat coming off, or have a great hat come off and someone step on it.
Yeah, that'd be really sad.
One gentleman here has a straw boater hat on. He's one of the guests in a carriage, the passenger, and a straw boater it's a nice sporty turnout, very crisp, very nice to see. And years ago, way down at the end, there's a man there, you can see way down, see his straw boater hat? Acceptable as a driver or a passenger in sporting turnout. Years ago, when we formed the American Driving Society, all of our etiquette came from England. And in England, the seasons are cold and they're hot again. So Labor Day or Memorial Day, when you went from felt to straw. But now in this country, it's so huge, my feeling is now we dress for the weather, because here we are in October, but it's going to be over 90 degrees today. So you want to be cool.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And everyone wears long sleeves. There's no skin showing on the arms. And see, they're all standing perfectly quiet. If your horse was fussing its head or moving around, maybe you might want to do one circle, which wouldn't affect your judging too much. But if it's continuous, they don't want to stand, it's not a good thing. Every horse is now being asked to back, and you want the horse to back up just as quietly as it walks forward, so it's smooth, easy, confident, and then they come back to line and they stand again. And everyone's paying attention. They're all looking ahead. They're watching their horse. You watch the horse's ears. You can see sometimes their ear goes back because the drivers may be talking to them a little bit. And also in carriage driving, you may communicate with your animal because you're not sitting on its back. So you can talk to it as long as it's not, it doesn't interfere with other drivers. This is Karen. She's an Oklahoma native, and this is her horse, chairman of the board. He's shown for many years in the carriage division and has an exceptional show record, I would say. As we said earlier, this is a carriage made by the Brewster Company of New York City. And Brewster, unlike a firm, let's say Studebaker, that mass-produced vehicles and sent them all over the country by train to be sold by dealers like General Motors does today, the Brewster carriages were made one at a time for the person that ordered them. They're all numbered. And Karen, who was the original owner of this vehicle and what was the date?
This vehicle was ordered in 1904 by a lady named Miss Strong of Erie, Pennsylvania. We have the original order papers came with the vehicle, which is very special.
It is. I know. For a while, I was president of the Carriage Museum of America, and we have an extensive library. And we do, through the Carriage Association, have access to all of the original Brewster records. And all the vehicles are numbered. And I had a vehicle once. It was kind of a wreck, but it was very unusual. And no one wanted to buy it, and I traced the number, and it turned out it would belong to Reginald Vanderbilt, Gloria's father. Then everybody wanted it. So it's a nice little thing when you can search back. But as you can see here, this horse is braided, which is an optional thing for carriage driving. You can braid or not braid. It just depends on your personal preference. As we had said, we wear a hat. We want a brim on the hat to keep the sun and the hair out of your eyes. Karen is carrying a whip so she can give aid to the horse because she's not on his back to give aids. She has an apron. In this case, the apron harmonizes well with the upholstery and also the natural wood. And the reason is it keeps you clean. Long sleeves, brown gloves, a smile is very important. She also has a little elastic band under her chin, so we're getting gusty this afternoon so you haven't lost your hat. And in the back, Caleb, come look at this. We have appointments. This is a basket with appointments. This is like having a spare tire. In this basket, may I open this up? And you'll see the things that are carried just in case you need them. But here's we have food. So she's all set for a picnic. And then in here, we do have a case.
So we have an extra halter right there too, right? In case you need to.
She should have a cooler in here as well. This is a tight fit, but here's her spares. And this is made so you can make repairs along route if necessary. This is very nice. It's leather. You open it up. See, we have a hammer, which is also an adjustable wheel wrench, pieces of leather, knife, pliers, hole punch, and these are called, little spares. So if you break a rein or a trace, you can use your hole punch, put 2 holes in it, and you can fix the repair if necessary. So it's a handy thing to have. And then there's wire, horse nails in case you need to tighten up a shoe, and some rawhide. Sometimes there's string or rope just to make little repairs if necessary. And here's her cooler. And then she's added some flowers so that, and these are lovely fresh flowers, like the real deal here. And it just adds to a nice lady's turnout. The whole thing is very attractive. And her groom here, you see, she's dressed in hunt attire, which would be correct for a groom. You see, because she's a groom, she does not have an apron because she gets in and out of the carriage to help. She's dressed, it's hunt clothes, which are very available. She's got a hard hat on, and she looks neat, clean, and always, she's a groom, so she pays attention to the driver and her horse, and she, of course, would keep one eye on the judge at all times. But you just don't let that show. So here's our winner. You see the bridles has a winker on the side. This is made because horses have very good peripheral vision, and the driver has a whip in their hand. So this prevents the horse from seeing the whip behind them or the wheels going around, or let's say you're going down the road and you know that there's let's say a man-eating mailbox coming up your horse is afraid of, or a rock. You turn his head and then he can't see it because of the winkers, and you go by and it's completely safe.
The Morgan Weanling Gala, showcasing the future of our Morgan breed. The only event in the nation focused on weanlings, their sires, and their breeders, with the largest single-class payout in the Morgan world. History has proven the Morgan Weanling Gala showcases not only the top weanlings, but also the show ring and breeding stars of the future. And now, you can join these great stallions as we look to the future. Be a part of the Morgan Weanling Gala.
On every country road and every corner in OKC. From every sunrise through every hour of the night, our cameras capture every moment, expose every issue. At every local landmark, every family farm, and every small town home, we'll track every Oklahoma storm and reveal every Oklahoma story. You'll see us everywhere. KOCO 5 News.